now we know what these 11 things mean. These 11 key drivers that group together in these 4 broad ideas that really drive the experience. So we've done the first part. The next part is, okay, well, how are we doing on those things? How are we performing on those things as a measure of association with our own experience? And what's the impact? Some of these things will be more impactful than other things. So we can't do everything. Where can we focus our efforts? This sort of complex looking thing is actually quite simple. It's the 11 drivers of the experience. And on the left, you see the impact of that thing on the overall experience relative to the other ones. So for example, instructor support has the most impact. It's the single biggest driver, most impactful driver of the experience. So interestingly, it's really what the school is doing. And on the right, we see our performance as a measure of association on a scale of 1 to 10. So you can see we tend to be kind of around the scale midpoint. We're not knocking it out of the park, but we're not performing all that badly either. So in keeping with that number of a pretty favorable experience, you can see in these 4 key areas, the good news is that in the most impactful areas, we tend to be doing better than we are in other areas. This is worth noting because when you look at those drivers on the left, if you calculate it just on the second order factors, the broader notion of educational quality, why this is worth your attention is that you can see here that it's those educational quality factors, those 5 things that we identified, that are explaining the experience more than customer focus, a key one of which was value. In other words, for a quality education, I will dig deeper, try harder, spend a little more money, even though it's hard to raise the money. So the quality trumps cost, in effect.
Now, another moment of freedom from Cirrus Aircraft. Freedom through safety. Perhaps the ultimate freedom is confidence, assurance, and peace of mind. We design it into every personal aircraft we build. It's the security that comes with knowing you're flying the plane with a parachute. The breakthrough concept that launched the Cirrus phenomenon.
So, if you just take and plot this then, on strengths and weaknesses, with the vertical axis being toward the top would be high impact, toward the bottom would be low impact. And the horizontal axis on the left there is poor performance, and the right would be very good performance. Things start to become clear. We see these 4 key ideas here are actually good, solid strengths. So the challenge becomes defining those things in the programs we offer and the way we interact with our students. So this notion of value is important, that broad notion of value. The 2 blue ones, instructor effectiveness and instructor support, are way up there as key things. We've got to have something to say there if you're going to play to a key brand strength. And then information sharing. So the good news is relative to the other things, we're performing reasonably well already, and that's what you're going to want to spend a lot of time offering the student. We need to be very, very rigorous in the way we're approaching those things. And the other one I circled there, the red one, the community 2 factors, are unique enough where we're performing below the scale midpoints. We're not performing particularly well, and for the sample as a whole, they're not the highest priority right now. But I'm arguing that if you look at the whole data set and the kinds of things that were emerging here, that actually is really quite important. The objective then should be to raise the relative impact of that community factor. It's what I call the low-hanging fruit. It's unique enough and distinctive enough for flight training that that's going to be the great opportunity to really cement the relationship, to increase motivation by students. Another argument for that is you just break out the student sector. So these are people who are current or lapsed students, all the above. You can see that value moves really into an important weakness. So clearly we do have a value issue with students, remembering that value is about more than just price. But you also see that the relative importance of these community factors, recognition and aviation community, becomes more important. They're actually now an important weakness. So a real suggestion that somewhere out there are the programs and activities that are going to really help in that space. And I think that the data suggests that it's going to be a way to really drive commitment by students.
If you own a Cirrus today, or if you are considering the purchase of a new or used aircraft, consider this. Aviation, in conjunction with the country's leading Cirrus sales and maintenance facilities, has launched the G3R9 program that combines the purchase of a late-model, low-time Cirrus aircraft and the addition of the Aviation Integra Release 9 avionics suite for much less than you may have thought, and certainly much less than purchasing a brand new aircraft. G3R9, combining the best airframe, best engine, and best avionics for the best value.
In review, students clearly come to this process with a premium on personal interaction. That's where they're getting their information, suggesting where this industry needs to be much more active. Recreational goals are the most common reason to learn to fly, and most students are learning outside a 141 environment. My presumption there is that 141 environments are generally more rigorous. I may be wrong on that. Certainly some 61 environments can be. So it's noteworthy that even these less committed students and students that are operating outside of those environments describe a very good experience. I think there's a reason for that, and it has to do with the nature of the activity and the sense of accomplishment that flying delivers. Hence, the idea of aviation community is a key opportunity. And I would argue that that's where you really need to focus some energy. And I wonder the things that you could do. I mean, clearly it's something that associations and flight schools could provide. We talked about and described for the 11 distinct factors that emerged. Remember, they emerge on their own. We don't create them. This is all the respondents talking to us. And these 4 broad areas, key themes: education, quality, customer focus, community, and information sharing are what we need to address ourselves to. And just to repeat, where's the low-hanging fruit? I'm arguing that this community thing is unique enough to present a very important opportunity. So that's an awful lot of data. You've been very patient. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.